So here's a game that Daniel and I played this past Shabbos. Because it was Shabbos, we couldn't write down the moves, so I just reproduced this position, which was close to the finale, by memory. I think I have it all right. This is right before a big blunder that I'm going to show and just discuss some basic points of endgame. So it's black to move, and black doesn't really know what to do. This is about after 2.5 hours of playing, and so he comes in, he takes this pawn, figuring that I'll put him in check with the rook, and then he'll just take another pawn, and then he'll be able to successfully run away because this pawn is blocking. What he doesn't realize is that the queen here is just waiting for a reveal check, and that's what I give him. So I say check, and he takes the second pawn. I come again, and I say check, and he runs away, and at this point I move my rook down, and I tell him checkmate, and but it was premature. Both of our brains were a little exhausted at this point in the game. So now I move the queen, check. He comes up. Now at this point I have the option. I want to keep him in check to keep the pressure on, so I can either move the queen over to b3 and put him in check, or I can bring in a new soldier. So I decide bringing in a new soldier into the fight is always better. So I move rook e1 to b1 and say check. He comes over. Now he's attacking my my rook here, and I do some quick calculations, and I figure that I can set a little trap for him by putting him in check with my bishop, and so I decide to take this. It was a little risky, and he pulls the pawn there. Now the trap works that I'm going to bring my bishop in, which does weaken my defense here, but I figured it was worth it, and it played out well. So now at this point so I put him in check, and he has a couple places he can escape. He can escape to c7, which then if he does that, I'll just put him in check by taking this pawn, or d6 or d7. So he is. So I was hoping he would go to d6 when I initially did this exchange here, and sure enough, he did, which allowed me to pin his king to his queen. So basically he has to sacrifice his queen. So he moves up. I take the queen. He doesn't recapture right away. He puts me into check, which I thought was interesting. And after I move out of the way, then he takes, and I come up and capture the pawn, put him into check. And at this point I want to keep the pressure on until I'm in a position to get a checkmate. And I feel like since I have both a queen and a bishop, that's more than enough material to get a checkmate. And if you've never practiced with these two, it's important. It's a nice exercise to always just play around with figuring out how to capture with a pair of your pieces. So he runs away. I put him into check. He runs away again, and now at this point I should have just gone straight from queen e5 to f6, and I would have had an easy checkmate, but I didn't see it at that point. We were just moving quickly and heated, and so I come here, check. He moves down, and I come back, check, and I didn't want to get a draw. We actually stopped the game for a moment and discussed the rules for draws to the people watching us play. And I come in and put him into check, and he scoots over and put him into check, and then now it was checkmate. So I don't know if there's so much to learn from this game, except that at this point, that was a big blunder, but it happens, and that you can keep in mind that with your king, this is one of your dangers of having your king out here. It does seem ridiculous that the king got out here, but he squirmed out of a checkmate with my queen, and I believe it was a black bishop. Were up here at one point in the game, and he slowly walked away out there, and then I lost the bishop and retreated the king or queen, and now we're at where we are now. So I hope you enjoyed that last little bit, and yep, take care.